He fell asleep on the couch again. One sock on, one off. Half a glass of Cabernet still in his hand, tilted just enough to threaten the beige throw pillow I always tell him not to use. And yet in that moment he looked peaceful, like a man with no secrets, no guilt, no second life lived between meetings and stuck late texts. I stood in the doorway longer than I should have, just watching, not because I adored him, at least, not anymore, but because I couldn't remember the last time I saw him without that guarded look in his eyes. For the record, I wasn't planning to snoop. I really was. I had come down for my phone charger, that's it. But then I noticed his phone screen glowing faintly in his palm. Unlocked. Unlocked. Tell me, what kind of husband, who isn't hiding something, falls asleep with his phone open? I should have gone back upstairs, brushed my teeth, taken off the oversized hoodie I wore to bed every night because he stopped touching me months ago. But instead, I tiptoed over, careful not to wake him or the dog who twitched in a dream at his feet. The phone slid out of his hand like it had been waiting for me. And the first thing I saw, a message thread titled K Kiss. I froze. I knew no K. At least, not one that came with a kiss emoji and a pinned position at the top of his messages. My brain screamed no, but my fingers tapped anyway. What popped up next hit like a car crash in slow motion. Still thinking about last Thursday. You left that perfume on my skin, you witch. I can't look at my wife without picturing your bra on my floor. My stomach did that sick twist thing, like when you realize too late you ate something rotten. But this wasn't food poisoning. This was soul poisoning. I kept scrolling. There were selfies, hers, lacy red bra, hotel room mirror, his reply. Room 418 again, you spoil me. I saw timestamps. One from a night he told me he was at a networking mixer for work. I remember that night because I'd made roast chicken and waited until it dried out, because I'd curled my hair, because I'd shaved. He came home late, kissed my forehead, didn't even notice the mascara I'd put on for him. And all the while, he had another woman's lipstick fatting on his neck. The rage didn't come all at once. It oozed, thick, slow, disbelief followed by humiliation, and then clarity. I took out my phone. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped his. I started taking screenshots. Every message, every image. I even recorded a screen scroll of their entire chat history, just in case he deleted it later and tried to gaslight me. My fingers moved automatically, like I'd rehearsed this in a past life. And then I remembered something. Our anniversary dinner. 2 days away, at our house, catered, 20 years together. Both our families, our kids, friends. A slideshow I had spent 2 weeks editing while he was apparently screwing Kay in room 418. It was supposed to be a celebration of enduring love. Now it felt like a stage for revenge. I looked at him, still asleep, still clueless. I wondered if he even dreamed of me anymore. Or was it all perfume and hotel pillows in his head now? I should have slapped him awake, screamed, demanded answers. Instead, I stood up, quietly. Walked to the fridge, opened a bottle of Prosecco I'd been saving. The cork popped louder than I wanted it to, but he didn't stir. I drank straight from the bottle, barefoot in my kitchen, my husband 10 feet away, snoring like a baby. And I made a decision. I wasn't just going to confront him. I wasn't going to beg or cry or crumble. I was going to toast to 20 years of lies, in front of everyone who ever believed in us. The next morning, he woke up groggy and disoriented, mumbling something about falling asleep during the third quarter. I handed him coffee without looking him in the eye. He didn't notice. He never notices. He didn't ask if I slept well. Didn't ask why the Prosecco bottle was empty in the sink. Didn't ask why I was still wearing the same hoodie, now with a wine stain on the sleeve and something wild in my eyes. And I was performance art. Quiet, controlled, not a hair out of place, not a hint of accusation. You know what's terrifying? How easy it is to pretend you're fine when you're broken. It's like a costume. One we all keep tucked in the closet next to the I'm just tired and the it's probably nothing. He kissed my cheek on the way out. I didn't flinch. Didn't flinch when he texted, can't wait for our dinner, love you. Love you, the same fingers that typed that were wrapped around someone else's bra strap just days ago. I spent that afternoon making sure every technical detail of our little anniversary gathering was perfect. The backyard string lights. The playlist of songs we fell in love to. Oh, the irony. The caterer confirmed the lemon butter chicken he liked. Our daughter texted that she'd bring the slideshow files on a USB. She'd even made a cute little intro screen. 20 years strong, the Taylor's journey. 20 years strong, huh? The whole time, my phone buzzed in my pocket like a heartbeat. Not from him, from me, rewatching the screen recording, making copies, saving backups to the cloud, airdropping it to a secret folder on my daughter's laptop. Why? Because I didn't trust myself not to back down, and I didn't want to be the only one who knew anymore. I was tired of carrying secrets someone else created. My best friend Carla called that night. She could hear it in my voice. "You sound like you've seen a ghost," she said. "Close," I replied. "I saw his girlfriend." A pause, then a low whistle. "Want me to bring a shovel or bail money?" I laughed, genuinely, for the first time in what felt like months. "No," I said, "just bring your appetite, and maybe sit near his mother." "Oh hell," she breathed. "You're gonna go full Gone Girl, aren't you?" "Not quite," I smiled into the phone, "but the toast is going to be unforgettable." The day of the dinner arrived with alarming normalcy. The weather was perfect. The kids were home. His parents brought a giant framed photo of our wedding that I had to pretend didn't make my skin crawl. He was radiant. That kind of smug, charming glow men get when they believe they're the star of the show. He kissed my shoulder, cracked jokes, filled drinks. You'd think we were newlyweds. No one saw it, not a twitch of guilt on his face. Which made me wonder, was this the real him all along? The slideshow was scheduled for 7:30, right after dessert. I'd written a toast, too, a real one. Sweet, tender, tear-jerking. I'd printed it on rose gold cardstock and slipped it into my purse. It was a decoy. At 7:29, I asked for everyone's attention. I stood behind my chair, held my wine glass, and smiled like a Stepford wife seconds before the circuit short. "I just want to say a few words," I began. My voice was calm, too calm. "I know everyone came here to celebrate love, enduring love. The kind that survives careers, kids, wine stains on the rug, and hotel rooms." A ripple moved across the table. He looked up, confused, then afraid. "Good. You see," I said, my tone still casual, "I thought 20 years meant something. I thought staying late at work meant ambition, not betrayal." But I checked his phone. A sharp inhale from his sister. I saw the messages, the selfies, the room number. I even brought screenshots. In fact, I reached into my bag and pulled out the printed photos. I walked them around like dessert samples, placed one beside his father's fork, one next to our daughter's plate, one by his wine glass. He didn't move. Not a word. "You want passion," I said, turning to him. "I hope she was worth it, because this dinner, this family, this together forever bullshit, it ends now." I picked up my glass, held it high. "To 20 years," I said. Then I poured it out on the table in front of him. And walked away. You'd think someone would have followed me out. Maybe our daughter, maybe Carla, maybe someone from his perfect little family who just saw their golden boy go up in flames. No one did. I sat in my car, engine running, hands trembling, not from fear, but from adrenaline. That kind of full-body voltage you feel when you jump off something too high and realize you landed just fine. I didn't cry, not then, not even when I watched him stumble out 15 minutes later, red in the face, tie loosened, eyes wild like a cornered animal. He looked around like he expected me to still be standing there, waiting, explaining, apologizing for embarrassing him. I didn't give him that luxury. I pulled out, drove 3 blocks, parked in front of Carla's house and just sat, my hands on the wheel, heart slamming against my ribs like it wanted to break out and run. Carla opened the door before I could even knock. "Babe," she said softly, already pulling me into a hug. That was, wow. I nodded against her shoulder. I feel like I just burned my whole fucking life down. "You didn't," she said. "You just lit the part that was already rotting." We sat on her porch with a bottle of wine and 2 solo cups. Classy, comforting, and exactly what I needed. I turned my phone off, let the silence stretch. But the messages were already coming in, from his mom, from his sister, from mutual friends. We didn't know. That was harsh. You should have talked to him privately. Funny how betrayal gets a quiet shrug, but honesty in public. Suddenly I'm the villain. Carla scrolled through Facebook while I stared at the stars. Then she gasped, you might want to see this. She turned her phone to me. There it was, a video, already with 3,000 views. Wife outs cheating, husband with screenshots during 20th anniversary dinner. Captioned by a cousin's girlfriend. Apparently she thought it was TikTok gold. The comments were already vicious. She's iconic. Can't believe he sat there like that. Where can I find a queen like her? And then, wait, is that Dr. Harper Taylor from Wakefield Dental? Of course, of fucking course. I buried my face in my hands. It's viral, isn't it? Just enough to ruin his business and maybe land you a book deal, Carla said dryly. We clinked cups. The next morning, he tried to call. I let it go to voicemail. Then he texted, "We need to talk. You humiliated me." That wasn't fair. Oh, the irony. Fair. Like the marriage was a board game and I'd flipped the table. I waited 2 days before I responded. Long enough for him to stew. Long enough for his family to realize the golden sun had teeth like a snake. My message was short. Everything I said was true. If you want a conversation, start with an apology. Otherwise, we're done. He didn't reply. But his lawyer did. Oh yes, there it was. A nice shiny email about public defamation and irreparable harm to reputation. And just like that, the man who destroyed 20 years of trust was now playing the victim. I forwarded it to my attorney. Then, for good measure, I sent the video to the lawyer too. Let him see just how irreparably harmed this man's life really was by his own dick and digital trail. The next week was a blur of whispering neighbors, hushed calls from extended family, and a lot of just checking in texts from women who had absolutely seen their husbands in my husband. A few even asked for my advice, like I was some kind of cheating detection oracle now. Carla laughed when I told her. You didn't just expose a man, she said. You opened the damn floodgates. And maybe I did. Because when one woman stops pretending, others start paying attention. That's the real revolution. By day 3, I started to feel something new. It wasn't peace. It wasn't anger. It was this odd, hollow relief, like walking out of a building you didn't realize was on fire. I went back home, finally. The kids were with my sister. The house was too clean. His toothbrush was gone. So was his Xbox, his cufflinks, his stupid designer relationship books he never read. A drawer left open, half empty. He'd made just enough of an exit to say, I'm the one who left. Classic. I stood in the doorway of our bedroom and stared at the place where he used to sleep. Then, I opened the Photos app on my phone and deleted 1,426 pictures. One swipe at a time. Every beach trip where I wore the dress he said looked too desperate. Every Christmas where I wrapped the gifts alone. Every vacation selfie where I leaned in and he looked away. Gone. And then came the text from her. Yes, her. The woman from the screenshots, Samantha, or as she now preferred, Sam. I didn't know he was married. He told me you were separated. He said you were cold, that you didn't touch him anymore. I'm so sorry. I stared at those words like they were from another timeline, as if I should be the one accepting apologies on behalf of someone else's stupidity. So I texted her back. You believed the man who couldn't even own up to a toothbrush. She didn't reply after that. By the weekend, it was impossible to ignore how far the story had gone. Local gossip pages, a podcast episode, even a meme account reposted the dinner video, adding a soundtrack. Kill Bill by SZA naturally. I got a DM from a reporter with BuzzNow Weekly. Would you be open to an anonymous interview? We're running a series on digital breakups. You'd be perfect. Perfect, sure. I didn't respond. Because this wasn't entertainment to me. It was 20 years of my goddamn life. But also, I kinda understood why it resonated. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't pour wine on his head. I read receipts like scripture, and I toasted to the end of pretending. Maybe that's why it hit people. Because we've all played nice at the table while dying inside. Then came the kicker, his mom. A text, then a voicemail, then she showed up. I found her standing on my porch, holding a lemon loaf from Trader Joe's like it could undo the past. "Can I come in?" she asked. I didn't answer, I just stepped aside. She sat down, smoothed her skirt like she was about to deliver a eulogy, and said, "I raised him better." I let out a dry laugh, clearly not. She winced. "I don't expect you to forgive him. I want you to know we don't condone what he did." I tilted my head. "But you do condone telling me I was wrong to expose it publicly." She paused. And in that pause, I saw it, the part where she wanted to defend him, say I embarrassed the family, say I made things harder. Instead, she said, he made his choices, you just turned the lights on. Finally, the first real sentence anyone had said to me all week. She handed me the lemon loaf, for the kids. I accepted it not because I needed cake, but because sometimes a peace offering is just a peace offering. That night, I sat on the couch in pajamas, wrapped in the silence of a house no longer full of lies. Carla texted, "You okay?" I replied, "Define okay." Eating something other than vengeance. Lemon loaf counts, right? Queen behavior. And then she added, "Still time to go nuclear if you want. People would die for part 2. I looked around my living room, the mantel where our wedding photo used to be, the corner where he proposed, the couch where I nursed our bobbies, the floor where I found his phone, lit up with her name. "No," I typed. "No part 2, I gave him the ending he earned. Now I start my story." Carla just replied, "Hell yes." But starting over isn't a montage. It's not haircuts and paint samples and yoga on rooftops. It's grocery lists without his snacks. It's changing the Wi-Fi name from Harper Home to Just Me Now. It's sleeping on one side of the bed and still feeling like you're in the middle of a war zone. It's grief but quieter, without the casseroles and condolences. And maybe that's why I needed the dinner, the toast, the truth spoken aloud. Because silence protected him. But my voice saved me. You know what I didn't expect? That my moment, my messy, painful, personal unraveling, would become content. Within 48 hours of our family dinner, someone posted the clip on TikTok. I hadn't even realized my cousin Amy was filming. I guess she thought she was capturing one of those heartwarming anniversary toasts you see on Instagram. Instead, she got me annihilating my marriage with the cold precision of a surgeon holding a wine glass. The video, 3.7 million views in 2 days. And counting. The comments were brutal and glorious. She said, "Till death do us part," and meant his reputation. Honestly, this was Shakespearean. I aspire to this level of calm during chaos. Girl didn't even raise her voice, just raised receipts. Petition to make this the new definition of female rage. There were memes, duets, dramatic reenactments. A drag queen even lip-synced my toast over candlelight and wine. That one made me laugh out loud, the first real laugh in days. It was surreal. I'd gone from anonymous suburban mom to that woman with the screenshots. People recognized me at Trader Joe's. A barista at Starbucks wrote "Queen" on my cup instead of my name. Even the PTA moms, those Botoxed, athletic-clad micro-celebrities of suburban politics, suddenly wanted to grab coffee and vent. Where were they when I was holding up this cracked facade all those years? Funny how betrayal makes you popular. And him. Oh, he was furious. Not for the affair, of course. That apparently was a symptom of the marriage falling apart. No, what really burned him was that I embarrassed him, that I weaponized our family. He sent me a long email, not to apologize, not even to beg, just to scold. "You should have talked to me in private. You made me look like the bad guy in front of everyone. You ruined my relationship with our kids. Hope the views were worth it." I didn't reply. Instead, I forwarded the email to our lawyer with a one-line note. "This is the emotional intelligence I was married to." The thing is, I didn't plan revenge. I didn't script a scene or stage a takedown. I just spoke the truth. Out loud at dinner, with witnesses. And that terrified him more than anything I could have screamed in a private argument. Because men like him count on silence, on shame, on women swallowing hurt in exchange for keeping the peace. But I'd choked on that peace for too damn long. A week later, I got a call from his new flame. Yes, her again. Sam. I saw the video, she said. Her voice sounded small. I didn't know about you, I swear. Yeah, I said. He's good at that. She paused. I ended it. When I realized what he lied about, I just couldn't. I wanted to say something snarky, something clever, but I didn't. Instead, I said, don't let this define your worth. And maybe I meant that more for myself than for her. There was one more dinner to get through, our daughter's birthday. It was just family, Loki, pizza and cupcakes, no speeches. He showed up late, brought a gift she didn't want and tried to play the cool dad. I watched her barely look at him. The betrayal had aged her 10 years in a week. At one point, she walked over to me, leaned in and whispered, "You okay, Mom?" I nodded, better every day. She smiled. You didn't cry, you roasted him. Yeah, I said, but don't ever think strength means not crying. She nodded serious. Still, that was savage. And that's when I knew she saw me, not just as a mom, but as a woman who chose herself. The night ended quietly. Leftovers packed, balloons half deflated. And for the first time in years, I cleaned the kitchen while music played in the background and no one asked me why I wasn't smiling. I was. Not wide, not perfect. But honest. And God, that felt like joy. The problem with going viral is, eventually, the algorithm moves on. But your real life, that shit lingers. I thought exposing him would give me closure. I imagined there'd be this wave of peace, a cosmic you did the right thing moment. Instead, I got served. Yep, he filed for separation first. And in the petition, he accused me of public defamation, parental alienation, and my personal favorite, performative cruelty. I wanted to laugh, or scream, or both. Performative cruelty. That man had gaslit me so long I once apologized for crying after he forgot our anniversary. I'd spent years tiptoeing through emotional minefields while he played victim and martyr, depending on the audience. Now that I had one of my own, suddenly I was dangerous. But court doesn't care about TikTok. What they care about, income, assets, custody. So I lawyered up, fast. My attorney, God bless her, watched the video, then leaned back and said, "You're not the one who should be worried." Still, it was messy. Divorce always is. He fought for the house, the car, joint custody, despite barely knowing our youngest's teacher's name. He even tried to use my emotional instability against me. Luckily, screenshots work both ways. His texts to Sam, some of which she forwarded, bless her bruised heart, were gold. Just tell her you're in a meeting. She cries a lot, she won't notice. Honestly, my wife's a cold fish. I need you to feel alive. I can't believe I married such a frigid nag. You want to paint me as unstable? Cool. Let's read your midnight sexts to another woman while your wife was recovering from surgery. The judge was not impressed. But let's pause here. Because the hardest part wasn't legal. It was the quiet. The nights when the kids were at his place and the house echoed like a cave. When there was no one to text stupid memes to, no shoulder to fall asleep on, no shared groceries in the fridge. I'd built a life around us. Even when he withdrew, I'd still counted on the idea of him. Now it was just me. Me and my choices. And the silence, where once there was at least the illusion of a marriage. I started going to therapy. At first, I just sat there and cried. Not pretty, movie tears, ugly ones. Mascara on the blouse, blotchy skin, red nose, the whole works. But then I started talking. About how I'd shrunk myself to fit his moods. About the ways I tried to win his affection with loyalty and lasagna. About the slow erosion of being told I was too emotional, too loud, too needy. She looked at me one day and said, "You were never too much. You were with someone who gave you less and made you feel guilty for noticing." And that sentence rewired something in me. Meanwhile, the video kept living its own life. People reached out, women, men, even teenagers. I sent this to my mom. She finally left him. "You reminded me not to settle." I didn't know you, but I'm proud of you. It wasn't closure, but it was a kind of connection. Proof I wasn't crazy for feeling what I felt, for breaking the silence, for refusing to smile through betrayal. And maybe, just maybe, someone else would find their voice because I used mine. The day the divorce was finalized, I bought myself a ring. Not a divorce ring, not a fuck men ring. Just a tiny gold band with a single word engraved inside. Enough. Enough begging. Enough second guessing. Enough waiting for someone else to choose me. I choose me. Now and always. You know that line, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Whoever said that never met a woman betrayed quietly for years. Because it wasn't fury that drove me. It was clarity. Looking back now, the saddest part isn't the cheating. It's not even the gaslighting, or the fact that he chose to desecrate our 20-year toast with a double life he thought he could juggle forever. No, the saddest part was how long I let myself believe I was the one who needed fixing. That if I could just be sexier, quieter, better at pretending nothing was wrong, he might love me the way I loved us. It took a phone left unlocked for me to finally unlock myself. So where am I now? Well, funny enough, after all that you destroyed our family drama, he's already moved in with someone new. Sam didn't last. Apparently, betrayal doesn't feel so hot when you're on the receiving end. This one, she's younger, posts inspirational quotes with floral borders, calls herself a boy mom even though she's never met his kids. And me. I'm rebuilding. Not with another man, not yet, maybe not ever. I started painting again, just small things. Still lifes, watercolors. I sold my first one on Etsy last week. It wasn't much, but the message I got with the order said, "This piece made me feel less alone." That felt bigger than any courtroom win. Thanksgiving was strange this year. The kids stayed with me. My sister came down, and we had Chinese takeout on paper plates in our pajamas. I lit candles, not for ambience, just because I could. When I raised my glass that night, I didn't toast love or marriage or survival. I toasted truth. And this time, no one's phone was buzzing under the table. People still stop me sometimes. Are you the woman from the video? The one who caught her husband at dinner? I used to cringe, now I smile. Because that version of me, shaking, heartbroken but standing, she saved me. She reminded me I still had a voice, even when it cracked, even when it exposed more than I meant it to. Especially then. You don't always get the ending you deserve. Sometimes you just get free. And that's enough. It's not a fairy tale, it's not a revenge arc wrapped in a bow, but it's honest, it's mine, and it's real. And if someone's reading this while wondering whether to check the phone, baby, check it, then check on yourself. Because no screenshot will ever hurt more than staying with someone who makes you feel invisible. I did what I had to do. And I'd do it again. Only this time, I wouldn't wait 20 years. Subscribe to my Mia's Stories YouTube channel for raw, emotional stories and authentic insights that encourage healing, growth, and understanding. Don't forget to be part of a supportive space where stories inspire and lessons resonate. What do you think about this story? Let us know in the comments. Your opinion truly matters to us, and we're here for you.